Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a split tumbler using pattern vinyl. So I've got this super cute decal that's got a little bit of leopard print in it, and we're going to use 3 sheets of pattern vinyl to create our split. So the first one is called Jeans Ornaments. It's from Flynn Sisters Supply Shop, and this came in a pack of vinyl, including the plaid one that we're going to use last. And then the next one we're going to use is called Neutral Animal, and it's number 1. It's from the vinyl Cottage, and it's a little bit of a like rustic leopard print to tie in the decal. And then finally we're going to use Christmas PJs, also from that same pack from Flynn Sisters Supply Shop. So I will have all of that linked down below for you if you want to use the same patterns I'm using, but really you can use any sort of vinyl patterns you want for this design. So have fun and just pick a few patterns that you really like. So to start off, I'm going to trim up all of my vinyl, and I'm going to just kind of work my way down the tumbler here. So I'm going to put this Jeans Ornaments pattern on the top half of our cup. So I'm just going to measure about 4 inches. I'm using a 32 ounce plump tumbler from the Tipsy Magnolia because it's a little bit taller than like a 30 ounce skinny. So I'm going to have a little bit more surface area to work with and really get all of these patterns having their special moment on the tumbler. So I measured about 4 inches again, trimmed that up with my paper trimmer, and now I'm going to move down to the middle stripe, which is going to be our little leopard print moment, and I'm going to make this only about 1.5 inches thick. I really wanted this to just be kind of like a background piece, nothing too loud, but I did want to include it because the decal we're using again has that little bit of leopard print in the background, so I wanted to tie that in a really nice little subtle kind of way. So we're going to put Jeans Ornaments on the top, and I'm going to apply this one and the leopard print to the tumbler before we cut the plaid for the very bottom, because I want to make sure that I cut that exactly at the right size, and I just don't want to like measure without putting everything on the cup and then have my measurements be wrong, and I just don't want to waste any vinyl. So I'm going to apply this one first, and I did leave maybe about a little less than 1/2 inch hanging over the top rim when I applied this, because I want to cut off the excess the same way I always do with pattern vinyl, to make sure we have like a really nice clean top rim. So we're not going to have exactly 4 inches at the top, because I did have that little bit of excess. But I'm going to wrap it with my squeegee, just pushing the vinyl onto the tumbler. And then because this is a straight pattern, like it's just a bunch of boxes kind of layered with each other, to trim up the seam, we're actually going to cut a straight line for once. I know I always do like a wavy line to camouflage the seam, but this pattern really lends itself to a nice straight cut, and really you can't even see the seam unless you're looking for it, which is perfection. So once I trim up that top rim, we're going to apply the leopard print stripe in the middle, and I am trying to line up all of my seams at the back of the tumbler. So I'm going to find my seam, and then I'm going to line up the seam of the leopard print in that same space. We want all of that to be at the back. We don't want to see that on all sides of the tumbler. So I trimmed away maybe like 1 inch of the backing, so we've got a little bit of adhesive exposed on that leopard print strip, and I'm going to line up the top straight edge of our strip with the bottom straight edge of the vinyl that's already applied to the tumbler to make sure we get everything lined up and applied perfectly straight. Okay, so now that those 2 patterns are applied to the tumbler, we can cut down our plaid to fit. So I'm going to trim off the little white border from the top and then line up that straight edge with the straight edge of the leopard print, and then make a mark on the back of the vinyl, leaving a little bit of excess at the bottom like I always do, and then I'll trim that down as well. I think this ended up being maybe like 3.5 inches in width if you want an exact measurement. So again, I'm going to line up all of the seams in the back of the tumbler, and then I'll use the straight edge of the leopard print vinyl the same way we use the straight edge up at the top to make sure everything is lined up. I'll secure one end of the vinyl to the tumbler in place with a piece of blue painter's tape, and then as always, I'm going to use my felt edge squeegee to push the vinyl onto the tumbler, pushing the backing away as I go. And then the same thing that we did with the vinyl at the top, we're going to cut a nice straight edge seam here. Because plaid obviously has straight lines, we're just going to follow one of those lines and cut a nice clean seam. As you can see, the pattern almost lined up perfectly. We were so close. It still lines up nicely, but you can find that seam a little bit easier than you can on the top. And then what I did was cut a very thin little line down at the bottom of the tumbler. So we've got a super thin line of stainless steel exposed. We are going to glitter the bottom of our tumbler, so I just wanted to cut that really thin line of stainless. If you want to use a cup edging tool or something like that, you absolutely can. I just wanted the line to be really thin and just cut it really quickly with my knife. I'm going to tape off the bottom edge of my vinyl, and then I'm going to base paint the bottom of my tumbler with this antique white acrylic paint from the Delta Creative Ceramcoat brand, my favorite as always. I'm going to let that dry for about 45 minutes, and then I'm going to mix together a little bit more of the paint with the glitter glue from Adhesive Apothecary, and I'm going to use that to apply my glitter. The glitter I'm using is Chantilly from Peachy Olive Glitters, and as of the time I'm recording this video, Chantilly is not available on the Peachy Olive Glitters website. I am praying that it gets restocked soon because it is such a good color, but really any white glitter that has a little bit of a yellow or golden like undertone or shift will work for this like creamy color effect. You can use Manifest, you can use Venetian, which is the bigger cut of Chantilly. It's just a chunky cut, so you'd have to do a little bit of extra work, but really any white that kind of pulls a little bit of gold or yellow will be totally fine for this technique. So I let that glitter layer dry for about another 45 minutes. And then I spray sealed the tumbler with clear gloss spray from Rust-Oleum to seal the glitter and our vinyl. And then I added 2 coats of Flynn Sisters Supply Shop Fast Cure epoxy to the cup. So at this point, we've got 2 coats of epoxy on, everything is totally smooth and sealed, and now we can add all of our striping and our decal. So for the striping in the middle of the tumbler, I wanted to add a few different stripes to just make things a little bit more interesting. So to start on the edges of our vinyl, like where those seams are, I'm going to do 2 thin stripes of champagne gold textured metallic vinyl from TECKWRAP. You guys know that's my absolute favorite. And then I'm going to do a thicker strip of that same vinyl down at the bottom of the tumbler where the glitter and the vinyl meet. And then I'm going to move up and do my decal before I do all of my other striping. So for the backing of our decal, I'm going to use one of these bleach spots from Glamour Tribe Vinyl. Now these are a little bit different from other bleach spots that I've used in the past because they're not super opaque. You'll see when I put it on this pattern vinyl, it's just like a little hint of like almost like shadow on the vinyl to make that decal pop. It's not a super like I said, opaque bleach spot. So it's just a little bit, very flexible vinyl, super easy to work with. So I'm going to put that down in the middle of that top section of vinyl, and then I'm going to apply our decal using the hinge method right in the center of that bleach spot. Okay, now that that's on, we can move back to our striping. So I'm going to take this little strip of, it's like clear goldy glitter vinyl. If I can find this exact one, I will link it for you, but I think this is also from a company that is no longer in business, but I'll do my best to find an alternative for you. And I cut this strip at 1/4 inch wide, and I'm going to put that right in the middle of that leopard print section. Then on either side of that glitter vinyl, in the middle of the glitter and the champagne gold vinyl, I'm going to add a strip of this really pretty, kind of like sparkly chrome red vinyl. These strips are like 0.08 inches in width, so they're thin, obviously, as you can see. And once I've got those on, I'm going to add my final 2 coats of epoxy. For my final coat, I'm using the Flynn Sisters Supply Shop Artist Cure Epoxy as always, and that's it. This tumbler is all done. I really love how this turned out. I think it's such a fun, festive, like classic and modern feel mixed together with the vintage vinyl and then the little bit of modern leopard print. I really like how it turned out, and I hope you guys do too. If you did enjoy the video and you like the cup, please hit the thumbs up button down below. It really helps the channel out when you do that, and I appreciate it so much. And as always, let me know what you think down below in the comments as well. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another one. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I'll see you then. Okay, love you. Bye!